BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
This is Denise Van Outen. The following podcast may contain strong language and adult themes. If you don't like it, you can beep off.
Crouchy P on the MIC. We're doing this not for free. We're doing it for the massive.
Got to bash out a quick Mike Dean slaughters chickens in the local park.
Was it David or was it David?
No, not that phrase. the one that David said to you.
I don't want to do that.
That's why I've asked you the question.
Pancake. Pancake.
Who is the pancake of the Premier League?
That should be on the start, I reckon. Everyone's got a Fernando Torres. Hello and welcome to another episode of That Peter Crouch podcast with me, Peter Crouch. Tom Fordyce and Chris Starker with me. You okay, boys?
Yeah, I'm fine. But Chris, I'm worried about you. You've got just looking at the Zoom here, you've got your foot up.
Yeah, well, what it is football started up again. I was very, very excited. I lasted 20 minutes before someone crunched me, and now my foot is turning black.
And have you taken off the shin pads?
You know I have, because I've had to, because of sheer pressure.
Were you on a pancake when you got crunched or not?
No, I was coming back to defend, but I've somehow gone over on my ankle, and it's just, it's just
bad.
classic. It is bad. What are you saying?
I don't think it's broken because you're walking around, aren't you?
It's not broken. It's definitely not broken.
But it's definitely swollen up quite badly.
I don't want to moan about it. I appreciate I am moaning about it, but it's just a shame because I've been looking forward to it for so long. And the worst thing was when I was down and I was in a lot of pain, someone shouted "back stronger," which
I love this pod. Someone's munched you because of it, and then someone just bring me back stronger.
It causes me problems.
I feel responsible. Because I've shamed you into not wearing pads.
It was a bit of a curveball hearing Denise Van Outen there at the top of the show. Who sorted that one out?
I know Denise. I'm big fans of her and Eddie, a fella. Just great people. I've no idea how we got to know each other really, but we've been out with them loads of times, and she's got a show at the West End, and she's very talented. But
she was on The Masked Singer, wasn't she? She was the fox.
She was the fox.
Lots of people thought that you were one of the Masked Singers, Crouchy.
My phone was blowing up, and it was like you're the tree, and I was like, "What the hell?" I didn't even know what this show was. What are you talking about? I'm a
strange
tree.
Text to get, isn't it?
It was going nuts. I think it was Teddy Sheringham the tree.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
but it throws up all sorts. Glenn Hoddle was on it.
He was, yeah.
You should, if the call comes in, please do it.
I think I can say I'm not doing it.
No, don't do that. Go on.
What's the weirdest thing you've been offered, Pete, since football came to an end? What's the strangest thing you've turned down?
Oh, been a couple of strange ones.
Jungle. Must have had a call for the jungle.
They've asked me to do a few things like that, but like Strictly's always one. Since Ab went on, I was always there, and they were like trying to get me on that. And I was like, "Nah, look, I'm going to beat Ab. Really,
you're a wonderful dancer. That's why. Do you know what? You have a beautiful dancing ability, a natural ability. You've been gifted it. It's wrong that you don't go on that show. Morally wrong.
There's only so many robots you can do. It's like, do I save it for the final and blow people's minds, or do I go early and get through the next round?
Do it, but on your terms. So what you say to them is you have to pick the songs each week.
So hang on, how many series have there been? You think Crouchy should go in there and try to rewrite the rules?
Just go New York Urban Week.
Yeah, send an agent
out the robot.
Send an agent in, right? Be proper football agent aggressive about the whole scenario. It's going to. I will take part, but it's on these very specific terms.
Week 1, body popping.
I'm gonna stay. I have to say to my dancer, like, sorry, I dance mainly. My majority of my stuff is solo.
Alone.
So if you could just watch me do this, please.
You could just stand nearby and clap.
It'd be great.
I don't think I could do that one either, if I'm honest. I don't think that's my field, like ballroom. No, I'm an excellent dancer, but perhaps ballroom's not my flavour.
Yours is more street, isn't it?
Most of my stuff is street dance.
That's
like
your influences.
Mainly. It's mainly solo. It's mainly sweaty nightclubs or street. I don't think it's for the ballroom.
Tom, what is the plan for this episode?
There's a lot of stuff I think we both want to know about. Basically, what happens when an entire football team rocks up at a hotel. But have you got some listener messages, Chris, before we dive in?
Yeah, there are loads of people. Thank you so much if you've sent us a message on social media or you've dropped us an email. What is the email address? It's still the same one, right?
Yeah, it's Peter dot Crouch at
No, that's your real one. Don't give your real one.
It's something to do with BBC with my name in it.
You'll remember, Pete and Chris, that we had all that chat in the set pieces episode about draft excluders, the human draft excluder behind the free kick wall. We've had a message from Greg. Greg says, I have the perfect solution for defending free kicks without the need for a draft excluder. Just get your wall acclimatized to jumping only 90% the height of a football, so that if the ball is rolled on the floor, it'll hit their feet, yet they still jump and increase the height of the wall.
This is good. If you could jump like a ballerina, for instance, like with
toes down.
Toes down, you're increasing the height and the downward trajectory on the. You can't get it underneath.
Could you have a wall, right, where the players remove their boots and then the boots are put along the ground as well? Because if a ball hits a boot, it's going to go off in some sort of wayward. I don't want to give anyone ideas, but is that technically allowed?
It'd get done under unsportsmanlike conduct again, isn't it? It's the great catch. I mean, in cricket, where they might have a spare helmet on the pitch for a fielder who's going to field in at short leg or something like that, the helmet would be placed behind the wicketkeeper, and then there would be a penalty runs if the ball hit the helmet. So I don't know, Chris, if they'd try and bring something similar in for that.
Got it. It's quite tail enders then for a minute, wasn't it? Just give me a glimpse into what that would be like. Is that not allowed then? You're not allowed to leave a helmet on the pitch?
You can, but if you stick it back... if the ball strikes your helmet, Chris, there is a penalty.
Yeah.
We've had a message from Will. Chris, you might like this one. The other evening, I was walking my girlfriend's dog. The dog's name is Pancake. Also in the park was a group of lads taking shots into a goal. My dog runs off, so I have to shout, Pancake! Pancake! Pancake!
I see where we're going with this one.
One of the lads playing football walks over and says, what's your problem? I know we're pretty shit, but there's no need for that. He then asked if I listened to that Peter Crouch podcast. So I reply, yes. I had to explain that I was only shouting to my dog Pancake. We both begin to laugh. I put the lead back on the dog, shouted, back stronger lads, and finished my walk.
Imagine being in a park shouting Pancake.
That is so good. I mean, that is just so good. Imagine shouting at the dog and we create this thing where it means a fullback going forward.
Yeah. If you're on a bit of a walk and you pass people playing football in the park, like 5 aside, 7 aside, shout Pancake and see who nibbles. Because a lot of people won't have heard it, but there'll be people who listen to this that get it.
Well, imagine a fullback. Imagine if you are walking your dog, right, and you see a fullback and you go, Pancake. That might be the boost that you needed just to go on an overlap.
Oh God! Can you imagine when crowds are back in the football? Like, my dream is to be at the football and hear someone shouting at a player to Pancake. Like,
well, the best scenario for this actually is when they go back to having restricted numbers in the crowd. It's probably ideal because if you had a full stadium, one person shouting Pancake, you might not hear it. But when they've got maybe 7,000 people in the stadium, there's a gap between spectators. There's an echo. A Pancake may well be audible.
Or Wimbledon, like out of context as well. That'd be funny. Like if there's a crowd at Wimbledon and one of you listening to this shouts Pancake,
it could be the new equivalent. There's always someone when Andy Murray's playing who shouts out
something silly.
Yeah, shouts out something like "Come on, Tim," and everyone titters. Then the umpire goes, "Quiet, please, ladies and gentlemen."
It's like how late can you leave it? It's like that one, when everyone sits down and then you go Pancake. If I hear a Pancake at Wimbledon, right, I know that we're back. Crowds are back in stadiums. Pancake at Wimbledon. Life's good again.
Right, that's enough about pancakes at Wimbledon. Let's get stuck more into this hotels episode And Chris, I know you've got a burning thing you want to get off your chest.
That Peter Crouch podcast from BBC 5 Live.
Tom, I've got a question for you. I don't know why, like you or Crouchy might know this, but you know, if you get a code from the hotel, so you speak to the manager there and you get internet in your room, it normally takes you to a little page where it's like, welcome to the hotel, you tick a box, and then you got Wi-Fi, right, for 24 hours. Can they then see everything that do they then have a list of websites, or is that not the case?
Is this anything to do with the podcast? Is this a personal question?
No. It's to do with hotels, isn't it?
Like, if in doubt, go 4G.
Do you not, because usually with the free Wi-Fi, you have to put your email address in, don't you?
Yeah.
Surely no one actually puts their real email address in.
No one does that, do they?
When you go down to reception, does the man behind reception, when he looks at you, does he know? Does he know?
You've been watching.
And then, are they, for you, Crouchy, Capello goes up to them and goes, hey, what have they been watching then?
What have they been watching? Hey, what have they been watching, eh?
Defoe. Which channel is Defoe on?
What has he been watching? And just goes through player by player.
But you can't, our data's going somewhere all the time, isn't it? So
it would be good to just clear up, because it's something every time I stay in a hotel, I wonder. And I'm sure the thought has crossed both you boys' mind. And Crouch, you've stayed in more hotels than probably anyone listening to this, surely. Anyway.
Pete, you know what it's like when you go to a hotel? Like, if you stay for more than a couple of nights, you'll often bring something from home, won't you, to make it feel a bit more homely. It might be you take a Bluetooth speaker or something like that. So if you're going away for much longer, let's say you're going to a World Cup, do you bring a load of stuff?
As you know, everything's provided for you, really, even down to pants, as we've talked about. But yeah, World Cups were amazing because the level went up. I remember in South Africa, 2010, and there would be a picture of you behind the bed, believe it or not.
No, it's slightly awkward, isn't it? Picture of yourself
in action. Yeah, so I went to the room and there was a picture of me, like an action shot of me playing for England. But yeah, it was it's like a big, like huge picture of me. I don't know, like, to try and make you feel comfortable. I don't really know the reason behind it.
It just plays the ego, doesn't it? I guess it's trying to fire you up a little bit. Like, you've arrived now. It's something a bit different. It's quite special, that. I've never gone to a hotel where they've got a picture of me behind the bed.
Well, it didn't work very well, did it?
A terrible World Cup, that one.
That was a terrible World Cup.
What about managers then, in terms of their strictness in this scenario then? Like, in regards to the hotel stay, do you find it's been a more pleasant experience under some managers? They let you, I don't know, run between the rooms late at night, play city games. What's the crack there?
Yeah, but away, obviously being with England, Sven was always, as you can see, was so relaxed about what we did. He was comfortable treating us as adults, which we weren't. So he got that wrong, really. Having said that, it was nice to have a relaxed atmosphere. And then obviously they went completely the opposite way with Capello, and we knew straight away how it was. Listen, there was the odd error. Some of the rules, like I did get it. I mean, the butter one was I didn't get. We weren't allowed butter. That was a bit strange. Well, yeah, like I don't really know what we were getting out of it. I have butter at home, but I go away with England for 3 days, 3 to 10 days, and I'm not allowed it, or ketchup, or.
But when does he say that, or does it just never appear?
No, it's just taken off the tables. Yeah, just it was banned.
But hang on, if you want ketchup, you surely ask a waitress or someone, don't you?
Yeah, they said it's not allowed. It's off the menu.
Why? What's the theory?
I think he's an absolute legend of a manager, Capello, like amazing. But I think when he realised sort of there was a few little things that we didn't enjoy, things like that. I just felt was slightly ridiculous. And then when the World Cup wasn't going to plan, he sort of tried to introduce things like back in because he knew we weren't happy.
Crouchy, are you telling me that the national team would celebrate and be motivated by enjoying a bottle of ketchup?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, it's little things like that that just wind you up. It's like, what is the point of that? It's not, it's not achieving anything. Like if you cut out butter out of your diet completely, or ketchup, or fat. If you made a conscious effort to improve your diet, I get it. But if you're allowed butter and the whole rest of the time out in the outside world, and you meet up with England, if a player wants butter in his normal life, and then he comes to England and can't have it, it just winds people up. There's no need.
But then
for
if you're wound up about it, right, and you say Capello has a chat with Bex and probably does have this chat about, whilst I'm manager, these things happen, with the idea that he then goes and tells the rest of the players, right?
Mm-hmm.
So does Bex at any point have to sit down and tell you, boys, ketchup's off, butter's... That's the end of butter at breakfast.
Bad news, lads.
Do you want me to go back
with
on any
Fabio?
of this? You just don't know that this is going on with the national team,
Could you not? Was anyone tempted to smuggle in some contraband? Was there like illicit drop-offs of ketchup?
I couldn't possibly comment on that.
So there was ketchup, Chris, and butter was being smuggled in one of the weirdest smuggling operations ever seen in mainland Britain. Probably got all these ketchup dealers hanging around in the bushes at the Grove.
Don't worry, boys.
Opening their coats, and they had a range of different ketchups. Yeah, lads, what do you want? Ketchup or butter? Crouchy, got some lovely butter.
Lovely butter. Contraband.
Would it really piss him off if you decided to do a full-on TV advert for, like, I can't believe it's not butter or something?
No, because that'd be fine because it's not butter.
Oh, yeah, good point.
It'd be all over it.
I've seen it before. One day Ramos did it at Spurs, notoriously. Diet is so important in football, but I just don't understand.
But then there's been pedantic, isn't there?
Exactly.
If you're having it at home.
Yeah.
Who was the manager after Capello, Crouchy?
It was Hodgson, wasn't it?
So did he sort of introduce the ketchup back, or was it?
Was that how he tries to win you over? The first meeting, he stands up and he just brandishes a massive bottle of tomato ketchup.
Here we go, lads.
It's back.
Hey!
Daddy's home.
Yeah, well, listen, you know what? It's very English ketchup, isn't it? Like when we're with our clubs, the foreign lads are like, "What on earth are you doing?" Brown sauce as well. James McLean at Stoke, he had brown sauce on everything. I saw it go on soup at one stage.
What?
Yeah.
Do you know what I really like about his Crouchy is just as ridiculous as we're making this sound, it's just interesting hearing the pinch points of things that kind of bothered the players or bothered the manager and how it works on a real kind of level. Do you think these little things add up to have an effect? Or are these just minor things that come with different managers?
Little things that wind people up. It's like, what is the point of it? Surely you'd want your players to feel comfortable, happy, ready to work for you, The worst one is early kickoff. When you get up and you've got a pile of food down your mouth at like 8 a.m, and I'm trying to eat pasta and chicken. That was tough. That's one thing that I really don't miss being retired from football now.
Let's say you're 12:30 on a Saturday kickoff. What time are you having this horrible?
8:39. You're looking at a big sort of pasta kind of forcing your stuff down. Would you though? But it's really
you could do it, Chris.
It's boiled chicken. It's not like it's not nice flavour. Plain pasta.
But you're doing breakfast in a different way. I love that. Like I've always wondered what would happen if people just switched the meals around. Like it's mad how we all have cereal for breakfast.
Like why do you have to have eggs like in the morning? Do you know what I mean?
Why not have eggs? Can't you have eggs for tea?
Yeah, you wouldn't, would you?
Do you know where the idea of cereal came from, boys?
No.
Animals?
So Mr. Kellogg, who invented the first breakfast cereal that was cornflakes, he invented it to stop people wanking.
What?
Excuse me.
I know this sounds ludicrous.
This
you can Google this if you choose.
But did it work?
I don't have the stats to hand for that one. I don't have a graph to hand.
So how much wanking was going on with our forefathers? And
what year was this?
Hang on, I'll look this up for you, boys. Hold on.
Quite a fact.
It's quite weird. I'm having to do Google Kellogg masturbation.
Wait, make sure you're off the Wi-Fi. They'll be watching you.
This could take me to some very different websites.
That's a red flag in the Radisson, isn't it?
A Radisson, mate.
Kellogg's
That'd be straight up. It's a niche market, that one, isn't it?
Here we go. Here's this paragraph. In the United States, one of the loudest anti-masturbation voices was a Michigan physicist named John Harvey Kellogg. The good doctor was a bit uncomfortable about sex. He personally abstained from it and never consummated his marriage. Kellogg's solution to all this suffering was a healthy diet. He thought that the meat and certain flavoured or seasoned foods increased sexual desire, and that plainer food, especially cereals, could curb it.
There you go.
Crouchy, were cornflakes ever served under Fabio Capello?
Yes.
Which England players favoured cornflakes for breakfast?
I didn't mind a cornflake.
Did it dampen your ardour?
No.
Crouch going for the spectacular. Oh, what a goal from Peter Crouch!
That Peter Crouch podcast from BBC 5 Live.
Crouchy, when you're in the hotels for pre-season, is that a different vibe as well? Because I assume you've had a bit of a summer and you're all meeting up. Are the rules slightly more relaxed there?
Most players dread pre-season. I loved it in a weird way. It's real hard work, but you'd go away. Say if we went to, say, Austria for a week or Switzerland, it was always somewhere really picturesque that I wouldn't think to go. I always remember Interlaken in Switzerland. And if you've had quite a lively summer, wherever you've been, you might have, been eating quite a bit, drinking more than you possibly would. You come back and you go to pre-season, it's in like a detox. You fitness every day. You wake up in the morning, do the gym first thing. Then you'd have breakfast. Then you'd be on the bike somewhere to go running. Football in the afternoon after a big lunch, healthy lunch. A week of that, you come back feeling great.
Stronger.
Yeah, you do. Back stronger. And I think everyone would benefit from a pre-season.
It might be something that if the government could introduce it, the idea of even, a week pre-season, so we're all allowed to absolutely cane it for the summer, especially this year. Go mad as soon as we're allowed to. But then there's going to be 1 week where fitness is encouraged. Do you know what I mean? We treat it more as a pre-season, then back into
the nation's
work.
pre-season.
Let's be honest, we're going to do festival. We're going to go for it this summer, aren't we? And then why don't we all just pencil in a date and have a week's pre-season?
Am I to take a week off work for that? Or what do you want me to do?
Well, ideally, I'd like you to concentrate on it and, all distractions. Maybe we could hold up in Interlaken.
Yes, please. Sounds lovely.
What do you mean, Crouchy? You want us guys, are you proposing the podcast crew go on a bit of a holiday for a week as a pre-season? Because I'm so down for this. If I have to explain to my missus that it's not a holiday, it's pre-season.
Yeah.
What we could do is maybe I'll just give Tony Pulis a call. Is see if you can get through one of Tony Pulis' pre-seasons. Tom, you might enjoy it. It's a lot.
I think I would.
It's very bike orientated.
Do you think he'd run it for us, Chris? If we asked Pulis, Chris, I'd love to get Crouchy back on, get over it in the Larkin.
What the hell are you doing?
I thought that was really good, actually.
Sounded like what's her name from Gavin and Stacey?
Nessa.
Yeah, Nessa. Sounded like Nessa.
Oh,
Dave.
That's it.
Oh, Pulis.
Oh my God! Is Pulis and Nessa the same? I've never clocked the voices.
Does it ever get lonely in these hotels, Crouchy?
When you're in these hotels, like you do miss everyone, and especially like think about the hotel on Christmas night or New Year's Eve, because we always play New Year's Day. They are grim places. The hotels on those occasions, everyone else is having a party, and I remember most New Year's I would go to. I just say Happy New Year at like 10.
But also, you'd have New Year's often probably in the hotels that you're in. They're probably putting on big parties as well.
Big dues
right?
and
Just
stuff,
for,
yeah.
And can you hear that in the distance?
Yeah, you can hear like banging like music and you can fireworks going off at 12. Like I've shot out of bed at like 12 a couple of times going like, having a heart attack because, I'm sober as a judge and I've gone to sleep 2 hours ago.
If I've DJ'd in a nightclub, right, I can never go straight to sleep. Like adrenaline and all that. But I don't know how you can play in front of massive crowds and then go back and just be in a hotel room on your
I
own.
found it difficult.
And maybe some people listening to this might just think, well, I could do that very easily. But
Nah.
I don't understand how you go from that high and that many people to no one.
I wouldn't be able to sleep, and I'd actually feel worse than a hangover. You know, if like I just had no sleep whatsoever. Like, so I found that having a drink after a game would actually be really beneficial for me, because I would be able to sleep. And yeah, you know, maybe I overdid it at times, but the odd, you know, if you have the just right amount of beers, like 4 or 5 maybe, and go to sleep, it's better. I felt better the next day. I always remember like the buzz of Champions League nights, you know, playing for England. If I'd scored, you just I can't stop replaying the goal or in my head, or a good moment or a bad moment or missing a chance, and thinking, you know, just going over and over it and constantly tossing and turning. I literally couldn't sleep ever after a game unless I'd have had a few beers.
Do you think players struggle? Like, have you experienced that where it sounds like the job can at times be quite isolating? I don't know if you ever really had chats with other players, or if this was just something that you didn't really do, or something that you might even say, looking back, might have helped a little bit with that. But sort of just being on your own in that time and moving around quite a lot. Did you ever see players struggle with that side of it?
Yeah, definitely. If you're like a new player, and we're obviously talking about hotels, aren't we? So if you're a new player in a hotel, I remember when I went on loan to Norwich, I didn't know much about Norwich, to be quite honest. I went there. I remember staying in the hotel. It's a lovely hotel, and lots of people listening will be thinking, "I stay in a hotel for 3 months on your own." It's like it might be a dream for someone, you know, but it is. There was lonely occasions there. I had no missus, I had no kids then. I'm just in Norwich going, where do I go now? I had a car, so I just drive out. I remember driving to Great Yarmouth once for no reason whatsoever. I looked round it. I realised it actually wasn't that pleasant, really. So I came back.
It does sound a bit tragic. And the thing is, I think that, you know, we get messages from a lot of people who work in jobs where they are purely on their own, you know, lorry drivers or farmers. You know, there'll be people listening to this right now that, you know, travel around with their job, might be away from family. And I do think at times that must be a very kind of lonely atmosphere. And I guess what I'm interested in is, when you're a team of people, do other players sort of talk to you about that or try and help you a bit? Or was there ever times where you were just a bit on your own and you're inviting, I don't know, Stevie G to come in and give you a cuddle or something? I don't know. Like what
15 of your fellow Liverpool players.
Yeah.
It's funny you should mention the hotel in Norwich, because we've had a message from Sam Crouchy. Sam says, here's a list of things that happened when I was working in a hotel in Norwich that hosted a number of teams and celebrities. He sent us a little list there, Sam. Number 1, Fergie and his management team ate away from the squad and went through 5 bottles of wine the night before a match.
Really? So what? They'll be on different rules?
Yeah, mad. It's a different scenario. Perks of being a gaffer.
Chris, this sounds very much like the sort of the foot soldiers against the officers. You, Crouchy, in this situation are the foot soldiers, and you're in the mess tent and the food's okay. Then you just hear this sort of laughter in the distance and the tinkle of glasses. And you look over, and in the officers' mess are the managers and the manager's assistant, and they're all using better cutlery, having better wine and better food.
It's true. Loads of sauce.
Extra butter, say, yeah, go on. Don't even like it, but slap it on.
Slap it on.
A couple more from Sam's list. He says,
Sean Dyche and Mick McCarthy were the nicest managers I came across. And Paul Robinson, former England goalkeeper, loves Tabasco. He had it on everything and even requested a bottle at breakfast.
Tabasco? I mean, who doesn't love Tabasco? I'm a fan as well.
Yeah.
Would Robinson have, because he was in the England team under Capello, wasn't he, at certain points, would maybe his leaning towards Tabasco, that it was an acceptable form of tomato-based sauce that he'd get away with under Capello?
Are you saying, Tom, just going back to the Capello thing, that potentially it was contraband, but Capello turned a blind eye to Robinson for whatever reason, you know?
But do you think that's just a bit of snobbery, perhaps, that because it's Tabasco and it's not, tomato?
Yes.
Well, is it because it was the Tabasco, or was it because it was the goalkeeper? That's what you should question yourself, Crouchy.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The team room, Crouchy, at a hotel always interests me because you'll see, particularly now clubs are a bit more open about the initiation that new players have to do. You'll often see on a club's social media footage of a random new player standing on a table in one of these team rooms, singing a popular classic very badly while people throw bread rolls at him.
Yeah, I remember one player absolutely dying doing his song. So he asked the waitress if he could slow dance with her and just lifted the whole place. But like also, the other one is like team meetings and stuff. There's always people buzzing around sort of making coffees and teas, or, the waiter or waitresses or the person looking after the food. And, Bielsa went to great lengths to look at training and stuff like that. Like, I wonder if he's put anyone in.
Yeah.
That'd be great if Bielsa was a waitress.
Imagine
the team hotel there.
To just see what's going on.
It's rare you have guests in that are having confidential. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Actually, maybe when you do work in a hotel, you are sworn to secrecy. I don't know.
But there's lots of ways you can get to an opposing team, isn't it? Really, if you're in Newcastle, like the majority of those people in that hotel are going to be Newcastle fans, aren't they? They're not going to particularly want you to do well. So, it's like lasagna gate, isn't it?
Well, I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Do you ever think you've been poisoned?
No, not poisoned, but like that one before the magnitude of what Tottenham getting into the Champions League or not, and it was Arsenal that got in that year, wasn't it? I think. How can they all get sick on that day? I remember speaking to Jermaine Genius about it, Robbie Keane, all the boys. It was just before I went back to Spurs, and they were saying like they could not. I think Carrick played and felt horrendous, but a lot of them just couldn't play.
What we're looking at here, boys, is it's a new area for us, which is fan shithousing, isn't it? So someone quite possibly in that situation, a fan, might have been of Arsenal, might have been the team Spurs were playing that day, has done some supporter shithousing.
It is a strange one, isn't it? Like you say, fan shithousing. It's happened to us loads of times. I've had it before where the fire alarm's gone off and I'm out at 1 a.m. in my.
That's the classic one.
Yeah,
has that happened
before a game? Yeah, 2 or 3 times that's happened, and they're all standing outside freezing, at like 1 a.m.
That's done on purpose, though, isn't it?
Oh, that's of course. Yeah, the other ones, Chris. The other versions of fan shithousery on away trips. There's if your hotel is near a public road, is just to rock up outside the hotel and just in your car and just bam, 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 bam.
You're right though, Tom. Fan shithousery is a whole topic in itself. And surely people are going to pile in here with some good ones. So, were you ever suspicious of the people that worked in the hotels?
At times, yeah, because it's not like the club canteen, is it? Like you are in a hotel, and I think you do have to be aware at times. Like you're with the lads, aren't you? Just discussing everything and anything, and there's lots of other people you don't know listening.
Do you know what? Maybe that picture in your hotel room of you in the background, are you now worried that actually the eyes pop out and then there's just 2 eyes? Yeah.
That's Fabio Capello's eyes, like that. Just peeking
with his glasses. I don't remember playing in glasses that time. Hang on.
What's that website? Is he on something Kellogg's there?
We've got a message from Sam here. It says, I got married in a hotel in Liverpool that was also used by visiting football teams when they play in Merseyside. The following morning, when my new wife and I got into the lift slightly worse for wear, one of the Stoke coaching staff handed me a 6-pack of Lucozade Sport and said, you guys look like you need these more than we do. We gladly accepted them, although Stoke lost 1-0, so I feel partially responsible for that.
It's good that, isn't it? But like you see people on, trips away, spa weekends. I had it myself. Like the England rugby team stay at Penhill Park, so I took Ab there for a weekend. Me and Ab were just chilling in the jacuzzi. I was like, "Oh, this is amazing!" And then 15 absolute brutes walked in, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh no.
What can you do though, Crouchy? Because you're talking about the England rugby
Oh, I'm
team.
thinking, what am I going to do?
You're just sat in there under the water
Horrendous,
trying
mate.
to.
I literally just wanted to go under the water and never come out.
It's a nightmare scenario.
Yeah, but this is on the flip side of that. Is like obviously I know what some of the boys have been like in the England team, and it wouldn't have gone quite as smoothly if I'm being quite honest.
Crouchy, with the rugby boys, I mean, I'm not saying you're not in great shape. What I'm saying is you're in different shape.
Thanks, Tom.
There wouldn't be a single member of that England rugby team. There wouldn't be a 5'9" scrum half who wouldn't weigh considerably more than you.
Did you feel like a bitch? Is what?
Just saying you might feel overly skinny.
Well, yeah, I probably did a bit, yeah.
Have you ever been in a scenario, Crouchy, in a hotel where you've been there with the team and you can hear a wedding going on and you've snuck out and gone into the wedding?
Yes. Yes.
There's been times where you've perhaps sort of hung about the wedding for a bit.
I love this idea. And then what? Like Peter Crouch suddenly appears DJing. And okay, have you done this whilst a manager has been asleep upstairs?
What I would say is, away on a pre-season, you see a wedding, you might have a little, just a Coke near reception and see what's going on.
Because they're just fun.
Depends the team, doesn't it? If it's your team, yes.
Depends on the team.
If it's a team you hate.
That's true. I've had plenty of pictures with brides and grooms.
Get in touch if Crouchy has blessed your wedding with an appearance.
The half-cut appearance.
I want to see the pictures of brides and grooms with Crouchy.
Do you know at times? I think it's been quite a few. Yeah, get them out there, send them in. But it's been quite a few times as well where people are pissed up at weddings as well, aren't they? They get a lot braver, and you're trying to walk through for a little bit of cereal at night without being dragged in and asked to do the robot.
All right, I've got a challenge for you, Crouchy. I want to know your top 3 wedding crashes. So they've gone down for cereal. They're kind of up for getting involved. And then they go and get involved.
Oh,
tricky one.
Players I've played with.
We'll have someone from the England team that you played in, someone from Liverpool, and someone from Spurs, please.
Wayne Rooney with England. He likes a bit of karaoke. He'd have a good time. He's in, as he's proved before. Liverpool, I'll go for, I think you'd want Didier Man.
What a shout.
Because Hammam was the quiet one, wasn't he? Everyone thought he was just nice, quiet Didier Hammam, but there's another side to him entirely.
Brilliant. Just he used to live above me in when we were at Liverpool. We had a flat, great fun on a night out. Just hilarious. Tottenham, couple of options here. I always think Robbie Keane would be good at a wedding. Sandro, because he could get on the guitar, and
he liked to party as well. Didn't he?
Did. He had a few dance moves. Yeah, Robbie Keane or Sandro.
Yeah, I like that. I like how you reason it out as well. I can imagine it all.
I know people are going to be sending in bride and groom shots of me now.
Yeah. I think there's a little collection of those that are going to come about.
We get them in the 16th.
Yes, you turn the corner and it's Crouchy with bride and grooms. That's the new collection, people. That's what we got to start.
I like it.
That Peter Crouch podcast from BBC 5 Live.
Peter, I like to think of myself as a bit of a triple threat. I sing, dance and I act. As you know, I love a musical. What I'd like to know is, have you ever considered being in a musical? And if so, what part could you see yourself playing?
What's your instinct taking you towards?
Oh, like musicals.
Do you know what's a musical that you could do? The Greatest Showman.
How did they pick Hugh Jackman for that role? Have they seen him in Wolverine and gone, right, this fella can dance and sing, I reckon. Where is it when he's like clawing people through the eyeballs? When have they gone like, Hugh Jackman's in? Do you know what I mean? Like, I never thought of Hugh Jackman in that role, really.
But he's perfect.
Crouchy, you're familiar with the role of a ghostwriter. You can get ghost singers.
Really?
Yeah.
What? So then you get the actor that everyone knows,
just mouths it,
but not being able to sing isn't a problem.
Can't sing a note. Someone sings for them.
Well, is that probably because obviously they don't look right for the part?
Yeah.
What we're doing here, Crouchy, I guess we're saying you can have any role and you can have a ghost singer as well. So it's more about what the role is. And that's why I think Greatest Showman you'd love.
Who wouldn't want to be the Greatest Showman? Do you know what I mean? I'd love to. But one, I can't sing, and I probably can't really do the moves they're asking me.
If you were still in football, it would be a great club reveal, wouldn't it? Doing this is the greatest show. And then the top hat, spin round, top hat, explosion of things behind you, an elephant up on its knee, up on two legs or something like and it's you at, Burnley.
I've seen.
Boys, I've got a message from RJ here. Here's a thought. Anyone who is unable to complete their photograph challenge should have to get their hair cut in the style of their chosen celebrity. Now that, I think, is a genius forfeit. So this is the race that we've got on. Who can get a picture with their relevant celebrity first? We each picked one, didn't we?
Yeah.
Can we just clarify, when we say celebrity, for me, we are talking about maybe the most maligned global leader of all. I'm not sure if I'd call the great dictator a celebrity so much.
Great haircut,
He is a celebrity.
Distinctive haircut.
What about you? Ronaldo?
Would you have to get Ronaldo 2002 World Cup, the Tintin? I think this is one of those ideas that's better in theory than it is.
No, you're joking me. If you have to go and get a haircut like Kim Jong Un,
yeah, but I am. I mean,
and turn up to school to pick up your kids and everything. Like, I just can't wait. I'll come and live near where you live, just so I can watch you every day.
But you got to gel it like him every day as well.
I just feel we need to remind ourselves at this point that Kim Jong Un has refused to even hook up with the President of the United States of America.
I'm worried if I go fully bald at the back, that it won't grow back. And if that, what I mean?
Also, imagine Abby's reaction when you had to explain it was a forfeit. Like,
Crouchy, I think you're safe. It's me I'm worried about in this one.
Imagine you on BT Sport. Imagine on BT Sport, like you're going to be on TV with this.
Don't even get this going, Chris. Don't even get it going.
No, it's going.
Because listen, Tom's probably got a 0 point.
Tom's in trouble.
Of course, I mean, that's the point I'm trying to make. This is not a fair race.
Oi, Crouchy, imagine we can get Tom with a Kim Jong-un haircut stood outside the North Korean embassy in Ealing. That photo will break the internet.
I want that so much.
Can we, if Tom does have to get a haircut like Kim Jong-un, can we get him the little clothes and everything as well?
I mean, you can't do the haircut without the clothes, can you?
You chose Kim Jong-un. None of us,
Chris is right here.
Suggested it.
I think Chris is hit the nail
when
on the head.
When we say chose, was there an element of choice involved, or was it chosen for me?
You raised Kim Jong-un, and then you were happy to go with it when you realised the embassy was in Ealing.
And I think the race should continue. My view on it is, if Crouchy, if you get something from Ronaldo, the race doesn't. You don't have two losers. We go. We carry on until one's left.
Well, the one is going to be me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look at some barbers.
Yeah, Crouchy. Imagine that. We'll get you a fella, won't we? We'll get Pete.
Cutthroat Pete.
So what we'll do is we'll get you just go see Cutthroat Pete with a picture of Kim Jong-un. Let him do his thing.
Does he have to dye it black?
It's got to look like Kim Jong-un's hair. It's really simple. That's the rule now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we all committed?
No.
2/3 vote. I vote aye.
I'm up for it, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Thanks, boys.
So just to be clear, the person who is, it's not the least successful, but the last person to get their relevant
let's just stop saying last person, just like using my name.
Will be getting the haircut of their relevant celebrity.
Give the people what they want, Tom.
Chris, how are we getting on with our Dragon's Den ideas? Because we had some crackers last time.
Well, that's what I'm really enjoying about this series. It feels to me it's taken 5 series for us to try and, frankly, all earn a bit of money from it. If you invent the next reggae sauce, for example, you're on to big things, aren't you?
Mm.
That's what happened on Dragon's Den. Now, we obviously had Deborah Meaden on the podcast, and now we feel we've got a dragon in the pocket. A couple of the other dragons have slid into the DMs, so we know they're listening. So what we're just trying to do is brainstorm ideas and also get you guys involved in brainstorming those ideas also. And it just needs one to really fly, and then we're in the money. So so far we've had a couple of ideas around social media, PooTube, Shitbook, a few ideas around that. Then there was also the polite car horn that we talked about last week, Tom.
I like that.
Tom from near Glasgow has sent this one in. Says, my Dragon's Den idea is called Spray-and-A's. It's basically mayo, but with a spray bottle top. So imagine just spraying a fine mist of mayo all over your chips. Genius. Well,
Good.
this is something.
Spray-and-A's? Fantastic.
You love that,
I
don't
think
you?
I think we found it.
That was...
Instinctively, we're all going for this. But is there anything about the slightly gloopy consistency of mayonnaise that will maybe get in the way of it being sprayed?
Well, listen, let's get in touch with the mayonnaise people, because I think this is a great idea. You imagine having a burger with some spray-and-a's and a loot. Great name as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be not sure that Tom from near Glasgow here is the next Steve Jobs.
Well, listen, he's coming up with ideas like that. He's going places, isn't he?
Big time.
I'll throw a couple of other ideas just very quickly. Message from Callum. Gritters apply a layer of salt to the street to stop people slipping, but often the pavements are neglected. Why not take this into our own hands with a centimetre or two thick lining of sea salt on the soles of your shoes?
This feels like a less fully realised concept than spray-and-a's.
No, Tom, you're spot on. Let's just cut this now, because I think we've got our one. Spray-and-a's is the future.
Right, lads, it's that time again where we get people on to sell their podcast. And a very exciting one today. It's our first double act that we can say hello to. So big up, Greg James, Bella Mackey, welcome along.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm so pleased to be on the Crouch Pod. I've listened for a long time, and actually, do you know what? Seeing Crouchy's headphones in real life on the Zoom, it's really something special.
Bigger than you can imagine, aren't they?
Huge.
I have to apologise to every guest that we have on. It's like I look like Wembley.
I just like that you've got a headpiece going with it, as if you're working in a call centre. Yeah,
hands free,
classy.
Roll.
Talk us through the pod then, guys. What does the pod involve? Because Greg, obviously we're familiar with Tailenders. Some people would like to build up some beef between the Crouchy pod and Tailenders in an Anchorman style way. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I don't think there should be any Tailenders beef. I think what we should actually do is, because I think the time is right now that we could maybe do a crossover episode. I don't know. The thing that I really like about the Crouch podcast is that you seem to actually have more of a plan than we do. And we just seem to not have any themes, or you've got themes at least.
I think we could potentially look to do something like that. I quite like the idea of joining forces and then absolutely hammering other podcasts. Do you know what I mean? Like sort of sinking everyone
like a pod
else
superpower.
around.
Yeah, who should we sink?
Yeah, like when Busted and McFly joined and became a sort of McBusted
I don't think that they sunk all other bands.
I beg to differ.
But yeah, I think we should definitely, there's room to link up, I think, at some point. If the demand's there, that's the thing. The great thing about this is we can throw stuff out there and see what people say. If they want it, we will build it.
Right.
It's a bit Messi Ronaldo, the two podcasts, isn't it? It's great debate.
Messi Ronaldo.
I heard you talking about Messi Ronaldo last week. And I think if I was to pick, it would be Messi. He looks sort of physically more attainable and he's more relatable in a way that you look at Ronaldo and you go, well, he just looks like a sort of pop star or something. I don't really relate to that guy.
He didn't used to look like a pop star.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Just saying.
Greg, you are a football fan. You're an Arsenal fan, aren't you? And you do go to games, but you don't like to really shout about it.
The thing is, I sort of fell off the football wagon about 5 years ago. So, and actually my knowledge of football was probably from the late 90s. Well, definitely in the 90s because of sticker books and stuff. But the 90s into the early noughties, and then I kind of fell away from it a little bit. So I could talk for hours about Ian Rush or Ian Wright or something like that. That's or Razor Ruddock.
Ian Wright taught me how to play football as a kid.
What?
My primary school was right next door to the Arsenal Stadium. And so every year they would come in with, if they won anything, they would come in with the cups and we'd all take photos. But also once a year, they would teach kids from our school football. So I remember one year we went, I think it was David Seaman and Ian Wright at the same time. Would that be right? I think so. And we spent a whole morning playing football with them.
That's amazing.
We've talked about tail enders. What's the new pod about?
Oh, so the new pod is called Teach Me a Lesson. And it's basically where we ask teachers to come on and give us their best favourite lesson. The one that, maybe they can't teach in schools because it might be sort of maybe, it's not on the syllabus or, it's kind of a bit out of the way. And they come on and they teach us kind of fascinating things that they sort of love to tell people about. And it's kind of based on the fact that we discussed during lockdown 1 75 years ago that we just felt like we sort of wasted our school years a bit. And I think lots of people can relate to that. You were just in such a hurry to grow up and, become an adult that you were sort of like, get this out of the way. And we've had some amazing lessons. So we've had Are Humans Born Evil? We've had Can You Fall in Love at First Sight? We had
this great lesson about the women in the suffragette movement taking up suffragitsu and learning jujitsu.
So they could protect themselves. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah. So basically the podcast is 40 minutes of getting to know what we were like at school a little bit, but also just a brilliant teacher coming on and just telling us their favorite ever lesson. And I don't know what you three are like, but I'm definitely better at or more interested in learning stuff now than I was when I was at school.
That's what I love about your podcast, because I think it's when you're choosing to go and learn something, it's on your terms. And I think that's what you've done so well with this. Because also my only experience of teachers was being a pupil. And the great thing is, even though, Greg, you do arse around quite a bit on it, you do tend to ask the same questions that are in my mind.
Good.
It works.
Yeah, all the teachers have been amazing. And like you say, just really normal people. So it sort of takes a bit of getting used to when you're like, this is a teacher and we're just chatting to them like a friend.
I don't know if you've been doing the homeschooling thing, but my God, that was tough.
Horrific.
They got Barney the dog.
Look at you, all of you look scarred by it.
Crouchy, what were you particularly good at though as a home teacher?
Well, the first lockdown, I loved it. Like history, I felt like I was learning with her. She's 9 years old. Chaos.
Is it quite humbling when you realise a 9-year-old knows more than you?
She does, and I'm quite comfortable admitting that. She's brighter than me. Are we going to end on that? Fucking hell.
That's great. That is great.
It's just no one's going to argue it, Crouchy.
I'll say it.
No, I'm
Crouchy,
sure you're
wrong. You're much
mistaken.
more intelligent.
Correct, yeah. Spot on.
Crouchy's done the robot again because it's 100 Premier League goals for Peter Crouch.
That Peter Crouch podcast from BBC 5 Live.
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts. Radio podcasts. Radio podcasts. Radio podcasts. Radio podcasts. Radio podcasts.